Yeah, during the show though, their general manager Ava, Rock's daughter, made the announcement that on October 7th they will be doing the Invasion show. So remember the Invasion pay-per-view from 2001? They're redoing that, but on NXT as a special episode where it'll be TNA versus NXT, and they're going to do 2 Survivor Series matches, so 5-on-5, one with women, one with men. And then they're going to do a title for title match, the Hardy Boys versus the Dark State for the tag titles. So they're going to be doing that. So, and then that essentially this past Tuesday, TNA invaded NXT. That was the beginning of it. This thing is going to be going on for a while. All signs point towards TNA ending up on CW probably within the next 2 months is what it's looking like. We'll see. Deals can fall through, but I get the feeling that's what's going to happen. And it's and the Invasion storyline kind of plays right into that. So what do you think? I know that you remember the WCW one and the ECW one. What are your thoughts on these Invasion storylines? Because I kind of broke it down on Brace for Impact. They said they always start out fun, and then at some point they just peter out, and one side just can't take it if the other side's winning. So the more dominant person just takes over, and like egos get involved, and it never ends up good.
I don't think it can be done right in America. I don't think it's ever been done right in the U.S. and Japan. Japan is full of these invasion stories. They happen all the time. Famously, like the Choshu, I'm blanking right now on Choshu's army that invaded all Japan back in the 80s. I cannot remember what they were called at the moment, but that's like one of the famous examples of it. And then there was the invasion of Japan that was allegedly the inspiration for the storyline, although this is very different. That played out very different. Although that drew a lot of money, right? It led to 3 main events in a row with Naoki Takado and so this is what they did right was that this is right away to Muto because you got to establish who the top dog is. And Shinya Hashimoto eventually the title. So although just to kind of get it over, like the Kata beat Muto, so they did have a moment in Hashimoto coming in. So probably the most effective. The NWO invasion very quickly petered out into a evil invasion storyline, which is different than an invasion. I don't think anybody thought that the NWO was a different company, right? And I know his day believes that's what that was, but it was more of a storyline than an invasion storyline. Now WCW, WWF was like something that I remember you and guys like us were super excited about. 20. And I don't remember Asian pay-per-view. It had a huge buy rate. Was it good? I don't even recall if that pay-per-view was any good or not.
The only match I can remember being any good at all was Jeff Hardy versus RVD. That was it.
No surprise.
Yeah.
Was that was they had Steve Austin starting to lead WCW? Like it just and the fact that he was from there's so many things, like you said, like the egos of the companies clash so much in these invasion storylines, they never quite work ever. Yeah. And like I don't know, I don't foresee this being any different. I think it'll help TNA. I mean, it's going to help them get that TV deal that they've been hoping for damn near half a decade. And
yeah.
I think it'll be good for them ultimately, but I think they'll wind up on the losing side of that equation because you think they're going to beat WWE.
Yeah, I think they will, and then when you get to Bound for Glory, which is later that week, there's going to be more TNA versus NXT matches. I get the feeling TNA will probably get the better of those, and then it'll just kind of be that way. Like whoever's hosting the show will I'm sure TNA is going to win some matches on NXT television. In fact, they have been since the beginning of the storyline. They have, and in fact, I'll go on a limb right now. I don't think it's really too much of a limb. I think the Hardy Boys are winning the NXT titles that night.
Oh, it makes sense.
Which which I think would be fairly unprecedented. They are not contracted WWE talents. They are definitely contracted TNA talents. I don't think any non WWE contracted talent has ever come into the company like they're contracted in another company and won one of their titles. I don't think it's ever happened. I was racking my brain, and I was like, man, Rock and Roll Express came in '93, but they were fighting for the Smoky Mountain titles. And then whenever they did the stuff with the NWA, those are over NWA titles. Nobody ever came in and won a WWE title. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't think that's ever happened with AEW either. I know AEW has gone to other companies and won their titles, but none of their partners have come into their company and won any of their belts, other than I think Suzuki won that Ring of Honor TV title, but he's a free agent anyway. So that's the only one that I could think of. I was trying to think of like maybe that's the comp, but so if the Hardys do, that's pretty unprecedented for like one of the big two major companies to allow one of their smaller partner companies come into their promotion and win one of their titles.
To be fair, I don't think that ever happened in WCW either.
No,
I don't think I'm trying to think of because WCW, I guess because I guess they won the NWA World, so I guess you could consider last time that would happen.
What, Masa Chono winning the NWA title?
Well, the NWA title was the title at that time. Like when the NWA rebooted in '92, the idea of it was to be a title that would be defended between New Japan and WCW, and that went out the window very quickly with Barry Windham. The NWA was not the NWA. I think people kind of get confused and think the WCW in the early '90s were simpatico, and they weren't. WCW or Crockett, whatever you want to call it, still a division of the NWA. It just they were the only one left. They were the strongest one, but the NWA board still existed. And this is super controversial time because when Flair leaves WCW, Fujinami is recognized as the NWA champion at Starrcade that year. WCW does not recognize that title belt change. NWA does. This is essentially the split in WCW NWA title, right? This is when it all gets fakakta. Does get it back, but then Flair leaves WCW with the NWA World Championship. Brings the belt with him because he owned it, and the WCW had to buy the big gold belt back. So at that time, Lex Luger becomes the champion. So if we're looking back, the title would definitely be Tatsumi Fujinami in 1990. Thank you. Sorry about that. I had to think.
Yeah, no, you're good. So if the Hardys do, I think that's. I don't think it's like a big deal business wise, but I think it's like a big deal as far as like it just hasn't happened in forever, if at all. Io said Minoru Suzuki won ROH TV title. I don't know. Maybe that counts. I don't know. Like he was a free agent and he just kind of works everywhere. And I was thinking, I was like, New Japan, it's always the bigger company. They send their stars to other smaller companies and they win their titles. But the smaller company never gets to go to the bigger one and win a title. Like New Japan, they send people to Noah all the time and they win their titles. But does Noah ever get to go to New Japan and win any IWGP titles? Like right now, Hiromu Takahashi is the junior heavyweight champion in Noah. And I don't think they're going to be sending Kaito Kiyomiya over to New Japan to win one of their belts, right?
No. No. And it's weird because this is probably the only point where Noah and New Japan are like, I know some listening show Mikey and Mandy, but they're actually kind of on similar footing business-wise at the moment. Like New Japan is not lighting the world on fire at the box office. Like let's be real, New Japan kind of sucks right now. Anyone who says differently is not saying they do.
It sucks so bad I missed the entire G1.
That's what I'm saying. Like New Japan, people like all these poor nutcases are always like, man, AEW's taking advantage of New Japan, man. It's like, well, New Japan's fucking really bad right now. So I mean, like, they can do that. And Noah's strong because they have a huge. They do. They're with Aviva TV out there, so they're doing pretty good. But like business wise, like Noah down and NWA top or WWE, Noah down and New Japan, Noah up and New Japan down make them similar. But okay, Atlantis Jr. also.
Atlantis Jr. won the title. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the same. Okay.
Okay.
And you're right because Max just lost that CMLL World, the welterweight title.
He dropped it to Mystico. Yeah.
I forget what it's so Mexican belts are so weird like that. I cannot think. Yeah, continue.
I also when's the last time New Japan did a U.S. show? That's been a while. I think since
I went to one in the spring.
Okay, so it's the Chicago one, right? And the Windy City Riot was in what, April?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's probably about right.
Okay, cool. So let me get to the chat. The chat's been blowing up. I have been neglecting them tonight. We're free on YouTube tonight, everybody. But please support us on Patreon. I'm just giving the shit away for free. But I just wanted more interaction with the people. I kind of miss having the chat blow up. Let's see. Lucky Charm says, should TNA sign more luchas to fill out the division? Of course they should, but they won't know what to do with them. Although Delirious does have a history of booking luchadors pretty well. So I think if TNA were to sign Andrade, I think that Delirious would probably push them.
Has that been rumored, Andrade to TNA?
No, it has not. No. If anything, I think signs point towards AEW, but he hasn't signed there yet. So I don't know. I wouldn't rule out any possibilities. He's such a wild card. I wouldn't know what to do with him. So let's see. Hold on. Let me get to a juicy one. Okay. Andy says the invasion will run its course because there are no Dream NXT versus TNA matches. That's true. Although I think TNA is having one. Javon Evans versus Leon Slater at Bound for Glory. That is kind of like that's a pretty, like if you were to put that on a fucking super indie, like that would be a big time match, I think.
Dream is but it's a good match. Like that's intriguing. So I don't know if I call it a dream match.
No, when I think dream match, I think of like Sting versus Undertaker or something like that. You know what I
mean? Yeah, that's a dream match.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Gerard said SRS said he could see Andrade TNA happening. Didn't say they wouldn't be interested despite the disciplinary issues. So I think that would test the TNA relationship with WWE. Can you sign somebody from WWE that just got fired due to disciplinary issues, or would they not be able to? I think that would be interesting to find out if they did sign him, because he's not leaving there on a high note.
No.
But would WWE allow TNA to keep him from going to AEW? But my thing is like, even if he goes to AEW, he's not helping AEW. He's just another dude, right? And I think he's immensely talented. And if he went to TNA, he would be immediately the best wrestler in that company, I think. So I would help TNA, but he would not do anything for AEW.
No, he doesn't. I don't know what he really does for TNA either, because I don't think he's actually a draw. Like the thing with Andrade truly believes he's a star, and he wrestles like a star. He looks like a star, but he's not. Like he's never since coming to the US. Dude was a star in CMLL for sure, with Sombra. Since coming to the US, what's he drawn on? Like he's never really been a difference maker, and he believes that he is. So maybe going to TNA in that regard, he would get an opportunity to be the top guy. The problem is Andrade as a top guy is a giant yes.
Yeah. So no, he wouldn't draw any money for them, but he is a really, really good wrestler, and they don't have that many of those. So he would be a difference maker in the quality of the show because of what he's able to do in the ring. So
I agree with that.
Yeah. Let's see. Keep it Wolfson. I don't want to say his Twitter name. He gets all hot if you do that. But Delirious can make Rush a star again. Yeah. I
Are we? Is that a serious like? Do I have to
No.
listen to Delirious? It's an amazing booker again. Things.
No. I don't think anybody believes that he's a serious booker at this point.